The
Yeah.
white coming through with the controversy. He's like, nah, that ain't worth nothing. I don't care what y'all say.
What I wanted to share along the lines of Riley, what you had just mentioned about MoNique doing her own show and funding it herself. That's what Kevin Hart did with the What's Now movie. I remember hearing him talk about it, and I just pulled up the numbers. But he wanted a larger budget. The studios kept offering him $5-6 million. He kept saying he needed close to a $10 million budget. That's the one because he wanted to bring Halle Berry in. That's the one where he did that kind of movie skit and all that stuff before. So none of the studios would give him the money. So he said he put up his own money. I'm looking online. The budget was just under 10 million, and at the box office he grossed almost 24 million. So he doubled his money by betting on himself.
Put your money where your mouth. Bet on yourself. Bet on yourself. Absolutely.
Well said.
Yeah, but I'm sure in terms of Hollywood, that's not a good profit. You need to have more than just,
14 million. That's a good pay.
Yeah,
That's a good pay.
I would say they're looking at it. 14 ain't that much.
No,
but
Well, it is for it's an independent. For an independent film.
That's right.
Yes, for an indie film, that's actually really good.
Yeah, and he doesn't have to share it with everybody else the same way that the studio does. The studio charges so much. They have such big budgets because they have so many people to pay.
But tell me guys this, have you ever really found her to be that funny? She just doesn't seem to have that sort of, going back to MoNique.
When she did I Could Have Been Your Cellmate, I thought that is probably her best piece of work. I Could Have Been Your Cellmate. It was comedic in terms of being funny, and it tackled a real life issue of women being incarcerated. That to me, and I find her to be funny in most cases. Her scripted
when you
roles.
See her out and talking on talk shows and stuff, she just doesn't seem to have that same humor like a Jerry Seinfeld.
That's because in the past, like in the recent past, she's had to talk about so many. She's had to defend herself against all those people that blackballed her and all this stuff. And the crazy thing is, she was right. It's just she was loud about it. So she hasn't, and even on her Instagram page, she has moments of being funny, but she turns it on and off. And I think there's two different sides to her. I think there was a side to her when she did Precious that was like, oh, I'm going to go into this whole serious, and a lot of comedians do it because even Jim Carrey did it, where I'm going to go into this whole serious thing and serious roles. And then, you don't want to get lost there too long because you still got to remind people where you started, and I'm still funny. So I think it's still there. I think there's two different sides of her.
I just mean that sort of natural funniness that some comedians have. She just doesn't seem to have that to me.
No.
Yeah, but even that natural funny sometimes is you turn it on and off. Because Shaina's funny as shit.
Thank you. If you go back and watch her old Def Comedy Jam, when she was hungry, and she was hilarious. I think what happened with her is that when she made it to Hollywood and made some money, her head got big. And she thought she was going to be something more, and she just lost it. She lost it and has never been able to regain it. And that's why she's spending so much time and energy fighting all these fights, because I think she really doesn't want to get back on the stage. I think she's afraid. I think she knows she doesn't have it anymore. She's not hungry. She doesn't have that grit.
I disagree with that. I saw the only reason I say I disagree with it because I did see her on Vegas and I saw her in her stand-up. And I thought it was absolutely great. It gave me a sense of this is the original MoNique. I think Riley's point around the type of stuff that she's had to deal with over time, it almost is like this supersedes anything else. And so you don't really care about my comedic flair. That's not what I'm here to talk about. If I'm on Headline News or Fox or whatever, you're asking me about the latest legal controversy, or did I really tell Oprah and Tyler that they could, which has nothing to do with my comedy, but now I'm here to defend myself every single time I do an interview. But I think
she should have had a project.
Well,
if she had a project, they would have been talking to her about a project.
Well, let's talk about.
She wasn't doing any comedy project.
She has.
Not comedy.
She has. Here's the thing, Shaina. Here's the thing. She has been on The View. She's been on other places promoting other projects. And I was at a premiere of a
movies, but not comedy. Not comedy stand-up.
Right, but what I'm saying is it's all on her to change the narrative. Even if she's there to promote something else, she needs to tell her publicist, I'm not talking about this Oprah and all this stuff. I'm not talking about that, because her legacy is going to become, she won this Oscar, yes, but then she stifled her own career because she couldn't let it go. That's what's going to happen.
Right.
And so
she's not doing any comedy.
She still has time right now to change that narrative and go on and be great with something else. And we forget about all of that because she just was great. And and they can't say anything to her. But the problem is she's in her own way. And I love MoNique.
She's in her
own way right now because she has to change that whole narrative. And when people start asking her, she's so free to talk about it because she wants to be so right about it. She'll go on Steve Harvey and talk about it. She'll go on The View and talk about it. Stop going on these talk shows talking about it. Stop talking about it on your own platform. Talk about your projects that you're working on and make people see that you're as talented as you are and make people remember who you actually are and remember that talent.
But one of the things
go back and watch her old Def Jam. She's really good. She's a funny person.
Yeah.
But
I think she's doing it, but The View and all them places aren't going to book her if she's not talking about that stuff, though.
The thing you said about getting in her own way is that when a person wins an Oscar, they're supposed to go back the next year to give the Oscar to the best supporting actor, like she did. She won, and it was supposed to go back the next year. She didn't want to go back because she wanted the Academy to pay for all of her glam people. They don't do that. They're not.
Hold on. Let's take a time out and put facts in context.
What?
So yes, you're correct about that. The reason she fell out with the Academy and Oprah and Tyler is because they told her, you need to spend your own money and go do this promotion.
No. I'm talking about her going back to the Oscars, not the promotion.
No. But I'm talking about leading up to the Oscars. But this is what led to the fallout and why she's been blackballed. So leading up to that, folks said, you've got to go campaign for it. And her response was, that is not what you contracted me to do. I'm the primary breadwinner for my household. I am booked on tour. If I cancel these dates, you're taking money off of my table and out of my pocket. And now you want me to spend money because you're telling me, hey, you get a $500 Glam Squad fee. Who does $500 on a red carpet?
Halle Berry did it. Halle Berry paid for all the stuff.
Halle got sponsorship for it. She didn't do it out of
Well, the interview I saw her,
but the Academy didn't pay for it. MoNique could have went and gotten her own sponsors. Halle Berry did Queen for free. She told them, I don't even have to pull a salary to do this movie. I want this role. You have to make choices about your career.
I don't think it's fair to do a comparison to say, but this is what Halle did and this is what MoNique did. They're not in the same category. They don't make the same.
Even more so.
Hold on. They don't make the same amount per film. So you telling Halle, can you afford $2,000 for your Glam Squad per appearance is one thing. Telling MoNique, who probably at the time was getting, 15 or 20 per show, can you now pay for this out of your pocket? Oh, and by the way, cancel your entire tour so you can promote this movie, but we're not going to pay you for it.
Exactly. Exactly. And that was the biggest problem is she did everything that she was obligated to do, that she signed up to do, and they wanted her to play the game. And here's the thing. They never said she wasn't right.
We're talking about the Oscars.
Yeah,
right.
We're talking about the Oscars.
I understand that you're talking about the
Oscars. I understand her falling out with Tyler Perry and Oprah. I understand that part. But with the Oscars, you have just been granted and you accepted it. And you know what comes with that. You know what comes with that. You have a responsibility that I would think she'd be proud of, because I'm going to tell you one thing. She was showing up at auditions expecting to get additional money because she won the Oscar. So you accepted the Oscar.
I get it.
You want all of the benefits, but you don't want the responsibility.
Led up to the Oscars. Before the Oscars even happened, the second Oscars, where she was supposed to go back, what led up to that was where they asked her to go and promote Precious overseas or all these other places where she had already done everything. And remember, Precious was an independent movie. It wasn't a big budget movie. So they asked her to do more than what she was already obligated, and they were not.
Not the Oscars. The Academy didn't ask her.
No, not the Oscars.
But I was talking about the Oscars and her.
Right, we're talking about the Academy.
I know, and what you're attempting to do, Tony and Shaina, is separate the experience. And I'm not MoNique, right? But the
reality
is, the pathway that leads up to the Academy to get the award, the recognition, how you're treated, because you realize the Academy is who called and said, hey, Oprah, Tyler, you all have access. You all probably can reach her. You can get her to change her mind. Use your black clout. Use your privilege, because we know we can't do it. So let's call it what it is. And I would
so
just,
why would she say no in the beginning? Why would it even get to the point where they got
the reality is, what if she don't have the coins to do it? Now that's what no one wants to talk about. We're making an assumption.
Oprah and Lee, they did not want to pay her to do it. They wanted her to do more than what she was obligated to do, and they wanted her to
they don't pay her to do the Oscars. They don't pay her to do
not
the
Oscars.
But she wanted them to pay for her glam squad.
And I guess the case I'm trying to make for you is that you're trying to isolate and separate why didn't she appear at the second Oscars? And I think
it's isolated.
Yeah, I do. Much more connected than that.
Yeah, I think it's isolated.
I saw her say in the interview that she wanted to stay home with her family. That's what I saw her say.
Right. So when she says that they blackballed her because it was Oprah and it was Lee Daniels, it's like, no, you snubbed the Academy.
No, they did.
You snubbed the Academy. What do you expect to come from that?
You're not gonna agree, Shaina.
It wasn't that, Shaina. What you're not understanding is she snubbed them, and Oprah's on the Academy. Do you understand that? Oprah's part of the
Academy. Because the Academy invited her back, she chose not to go.
Right, because she had beef with Oprah and Tyler and Lee.
But it's all the same folks.
I think it's all the same thing. It's all part of the same thing.
I don't understand why that would be something that she didn't want to go back to. Why would you not want to go back to the Academy Awards?
She was being a bitch.
Because of what happened,
she gets all the benefits of being a bitch.
All happened leading up to that.
Right. I feel if you had mistreated me for the previous 9 to 12 months getting to this particular space, the reality is, while it would be cute and courteous for me to return to the stage to present it, I don't actually owe you that. What I owe you is a film which I delivered, which won awards. It got me an award. It made good money. I probably didn't negotiate a back-end deal the way I should have. There are a whole host of things, and I don't know that anyone has clean hands on it. But I don't think it's fair to say 10 years later or now 12 years later or whatever it is, we're going to still penalize her because the language that she chose or the actions. I will tell you that I think this is in a case where not only is it racist, it's sexist, because if a male had did the same thing, which they have, Will has played hardball, Tom Cruise has played hardball to get the things that they want. The reality is they saw her as an Academy Award winner, but they didn't see her as in the same category that I'm willing to give you additional dollars to fund what you think is necessary for you to show up at this appearance. Nobody wants to talk about that. So what we will tell you is, well, you're the black actor, you have 1 million followers, so yeah, we'll give you $500 to come show up for our program. Jennifer Aniston, you're a different category of actress, even though it's the same award show. Your glam is $5,000 because we think you deserve more money and you require more maintenance than this other person does. When you look at that on an apples for apples, and of course, none of us have the detailed conversations on the back end, but in seeing how those conversations play out on award shows, I'm like,
But you see what the worst part about that was, Byron, is none of them said that she was wrong. They even Steve Harden, they never said you're wrong. They just said you got to play the game because we're different here. We're black. We have to play the game different.
And you know, Shaina's the businesswoman. So Shaina's like, if you know economics, play the game.
I don't even think it's about her. I don't even think it's about necessarily her color. Like you mentioned, Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston was on a show that's in syndication that they were getting $1 million an episode because they filmed 400 episodes.
But she didn't get an Academy Award for that.
And Jennifer Aniston played the same character every time.
But it's a bunch of people who show at the award show who didn't get awards for stuff, but they invite them to the award show because there's a draw. It's all about making money. How much money can you make? Like Halle Berry shows up and probably ain't had a movie and probably ain't been nominated, but they're gonna pay her to show up just because it's
You know why, Shaina? She's Halle Berry, and you got it, and it's a different look. It's a different look for a chubby black woman that is new to this whole arena. The reason they love Octavia Spencer because she plays the game. The reason they love Viola Davis, she plays the game. But the thing is, it's different now. If that happened back then, it would not fly today. It would not fly today. It would be different.
Is not mouthing off playing the game?
I don't even think it's playing the game. I think in Hollywood, it's paying your dues. It's paying your dues more so than playing the game.
And Shaina, I agree with you in the sense that it's paying your dues, but let's be clear. It's not as if MoNique was some overnight success story that just all of a sudden happened and appeared. She had been in the business. It's the difference between how Steve Harvey's career has taken off, because he and MoNique were at the same height at the same time. He's taken off in a very different way.
But you heard what he said to her. He said, we different here. We're black. We got to move different. You have to play the game. And he said, no one ever said you're wrong. And that's
got to move different.
Because and what did she say, Riley? She told him, but my brother, you never came and spoke directly to me. You talked about me, but you never came and said, let's do this, this, and this. And he never said, MoNique, because she asked and said, but am I wrong? And his response was, no, you're not wrong.
And that
you don't have to be wrong. You just got to do it a different way sometimes.
But Shaina,
you can be right. You can be all the way right. It's about how you present your point and who you get to support and back you.
And but he said we have to move differently because we're black. He said we have to move differently because we're black. But you understand what I'm saying is people aren't that was back then, and that was only a couple years ago. But people aren't standing for that right now, because right now do you understand? You get what I'm saying, Byron?
Right,
people aren't standing for that right
I'm going to give you an example. Did you see Viola's speech where she was sitting down on the panel discussion and Viola said, stop telling me I'm Meryl Streep, then pay me Meryl Streep money?
I got the Oscar, I got the Emmy, I got the 2 Tonys. I've done Broadway, I've done off-Broadway, I've done TV, I've done film, I've done all of it. I have a career that's probably comparable to Meryl Streep, Julianne Moore, Sigourney Weaver. They all came out of Yale. They came out of Juilliard. They came out of NYU. They had the same path as me. And yet, I am nowhere near them. Not as far as money, not as far as job opportunities, nowhere close to it. But I have to get on that phone and people say, you're a black Meryl Streep. There is no one like you. Okay, then if there's no one like me, you think I'm that, you pay me what I'm worth. You give me what I'm worth.
So Viola has earned the right to say that in this day and age, but I guarantee you, had we not had the incident with MoNique back in the day, the freedom and liberty to exude that behavior and activity wouldn't exist right now.
Absolutely.
I guarantee that. And I think people even looked at Viola and was like, you're right, but my question is, but now are they paying? Is she getting $20 million to film? Because she definitely deserves every single penny of it.
But it's not about, so when you're doing budgets for films and you're paying people, it's not based on your acting ability or your skills. That money is based on you being able to draw people in at the box office and buy tickets. So she can outact probably all of them. But if people aren't going to pay to come see her in movies where she's going to be hunched over and do that same walk every time.
But Shaina, the difference would be also how much marketing money are you spending? How many screens are you opening on? How many cities is this film going to actually open up in? I think it becomes a really complicated conversation. I'm with you, because at the end of the day, I'm like, look, this is the kind.
It's about money.
But I'll tell you where I side with, how I end up siding with MoNique is this. She signed a contract to produce, and I'm sorry, not produce, but to star in a film. And these were the requirements of this agreement that I have signed up for. Nowhere in agreement did it say I've got to do these 25 or 30 additional appearances at my own expense out of my own pocket. It didn't say that. Would it be nice to do that? Sure. But I can honestly tell you too, if you said, Byron, and I've had my publisher say this, we want you to go do these book dates. And I'm like, but I've already committed to these speaking dates that are paying a higher fee. So for my family's sake, I'm not taking less money or no money to come promote something when I know I've got bills due every month. That's the part of the public conversation that nobody ever said. Like how much, when she said, but you're taking money off my table and out of my pocket, I'm like, you want me to do something for free, but to also give up a check at the same time. I'm not doing that to my fan base because they're still going to be here and you're not.
But you know what the sad part in all this was for me is it made the sad part in all of this for me is that it made Oprah, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels look fake. And I'm gonna tell you why it made them why I say that it made them look fake. Because they had this whole thing, you have to play the game, you got to do all this stuff. They come off as being the most independent people. And even though it might be true, because of course, every black person that works in corporate America knows that this is true, that you have to play by the rules, play the games, and kind of dumb yourself down or be a little bit silent sometimes.
Amen, amen, amen.
But for people who come off as being so like powerful and so independent and so pro-black and so you got to do this way, it made them look completely fake to me.
But guess what it hasn't done? It hasn't messed up their money.
Exactly. That's true.
Their money is still in line.
But there's
only MoNique.
Integrity.
Only MoNique's money. Only MoNique's money is messed up.
Well, that's to our knowledge, though. We don't know. I don't know what Oprah gave up, or I don't know what Quincy Jones had to give up to where he is. I don't know that. I can guess and I can wonder, but we do know that in this particular moment, I guarantee you, Netflix will not find themselves in another controversy like they were with MoNique on the losing end of 2 motions so far that have been filed, because they recognize
they just won't make the offer to anybody. They just won't make an offer.
I honestly believe you cannot on one end say I'm touting diversity and I can give $2 billion towards these HBCUs and other institutions, and on the other end, I think you probably are worth $1 million. We know entertainment is not about, you said it best, Shaina. Entertainment is based on what can I sell you for as a commodity and what's the highest profit margin I can get.
Yeah.
So the reality
I don't think she was worth more than that.
But nobody says she's wrong. I have yet to hear, Netflix hasn't even come out to say she couldn't command $2 million. And I agree. Now, is she Dave Chappelle at his height or Chris Rock at his height? No, she's not. Is she worth more than
anybody at their level?
Yep, she is.
So you're just saying that it should have been more than
anybody on here watch Netflix?
Yeah.
I watch that.
So when we try to say it's only a teen thing or a 20-something thing, no. 40, 50, 60-year-olds sit at home and watch Netflix. So we can't say there's no audience for her.
What the hell are you calling a 40-year-old?
I'm not saying you.
You got what? 10 more months.
Don't even try it. Don't even try it. Oh, by the way, happy early birthday, Tony.
She worth $2 million, but she's not worth $2 million today. She's not worth $2 million today. She's not. Nobody's even following MoNique. She hasn't done anything. She's not worth that.
That's not true. Her Instagram is popping, girl.
I'm like, Shaina, what are you talking about?
They're following her now because of all the controversy, because they want to see what's going to happen next.
No, because her page is
nobody.
That's how she does. She does workouts and vegan food and all that stuff.
Nobody was checking for MoNique. I promise you.
Y'all
if they were, then they would have offered her the money.
I just don't understand how.
I am not the MoNique apologist. I'm really not. Like, I'm not. But I do call no, I call a thing a thing. And you can tell me that I've been on a national tour. I've had my own syndicated TV show, that I've also had my own talk show, even though it was on BET. Call it what you want. It's not as if she has no record to stand on. That's the thing.
Yeah. My only issue is if Tyler Perry, Oprah, and Lee Daniels don't want something for themselves, why would they sit back and let it happen for somebody else? That's what I don't understand. Like even if you know how things work, like why would you not stand up for her?
Change the game. They can change the game.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Oprah could have said, you all are wrong. Oprah could have also said, you know what, MoNique, you're probably right, boo. I need you to play the game, but here's $50,000. Let me pay for your glam squad. It would have cost her nothing. Would have cost her dust.
But I'm going to tell you this. All I know is this. What we do not know is what happened behind the scenes that could have affected their relationship.
You're right.
I'm thinking there was something that happened that made them say, girl, bye with that bullshit. And I'm sure it's her attitude, because I've seen her backstage and on tour before. Her attitude is nasty. Her head got huge. And so they probably just said, figure it out on your own. Yeah, figure it out on your own.
Well, then she also has a lesson to learn on her own, which is a lesson in humility.
Like you're saying, nobody said you're wrong, but also nobody's saying you're right.
Because they're afraid to, Shaina. They're afraid to. Nobody else wants to be blackballed. Would you want to be blackballed by Oprah?
It's not even about being blackballed. I don't see her taking any ownership of anything in any of this. And I don't see Tyler Perry or Oprah Winfrey just shutting somebody out like that. And Lee Daniels straight up said it. He was like, oh, her attitude was stank. She said some side shit that was
Lee Daniels shut Jesse Smollett out, but let's just call it what it is.
Keep it what?
But he didn't deserve that?
I think Lee was part of it and had helped set it up and then decided to shut it out. That's my opinion.
Allegedly.
I was
Yeah,
getting there,
please say
Riley.
allegedly on my show, please.
You see the glass is empty. You can't
Well,
even.
that's what
glass
Phaedra
anymore.
allegedly did to Apollo. She knew he was running scams and doing illegalness allegedly. And the minute it came out, she dumped him and let him do the time. The people
Dwight,
said
what
she
you
was
thought about
involved.
all this nonsense? Because we just rambling right now.
I'm gonna hear this and then I gotta go. I got stuff to do.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, I don't have too much to think about MoNique at this point. Like, I just don't have the capital. I think she should give it up. That's it. Like either she wants to be a part of the spotlight or she doesn't. Like, take what you get. You know what I mean? For me, I'm taking what I get.
I agree.
exactly.
I agree.
No
I think
human
she was
resources
right. I think she was right, but I think it's time to let it go. Because it's like, would you rather be right? What's more important to you? Would you rather be right, or would you rather have a career and
I'd rather be
take
paid.
your career into your my advice still stands, and I know she probably won't see this, but my advice still stands. Take your career into your own hands. The same way after they blackballed Kathy Griffin, do the same exact thing. Take your own money, do your own show. If you have to do a live show on Instagram, let people know who you are, and then watch the deals just start moving back.
Right, and 500,000 is nothing to sneeze at. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
see how that performs.
No, it was only 500,000 until you said something.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Good night, y'all. Mama's hungry. I got to eat. Love you much. Hasta miércoles.
Bon appetit, Miss Taylor.
Hey, thank y'all so much for having me. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Y'all super dope.
No, come back and join us again. All right, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Next week we're on Thursday or what? That works?
Say that one more time.
Next week we're on Thursday?
Yes, sir. You good, Riley, for Thursday?
Yes.
Okay. All right, y'all.
Dwight, you can come back next Thursday too.
I'm going to send you a link to a younger.
Thank you, Riley. I appreciate it. You're awesome. You're awesome. You rock.